Bienvenidos a este nuevo video de CINEmaddikt. Aquí estamos Didi y yo con Tracie Laymon, de la directora de la película Un Mejor Papá o Trevino Likes It. Hi Tracie, how's it going?
Hi, it's going great. I'm so excited to talk to you.
We're so excited to
Mucho
talk to you too.
gusto. Mucho gusto.
Ah, mucho gusto.
So our first question is, what made you decide that this personal story needed to be seen in the big screen?
I think I experienced, as you probably or will probably get into, or you might know, I experienced something very similar in my life, from the kindness of a stranger. And I'll tell you more about that. But think I just felt so blessed with that, and we live in this world where we say, oh, everything is awful and nothing we can do can change anything, and all these small things we do don't make any difference. And here was, a stranger being kind to me on the internet, and it changed my whole life. And literally, we would not be talking. We would not be talking right now unless a stranger had been kind to me on the internet. So it just felt like if you're lucky enough to live something like this, you have to share it because you have to say that these things do matter. And it was hard. It was very hard to make this movie, but my why and my cause was so much bigger than my fear. So that's what I had. I think every filmmaker, you need that. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing, or else it doesn't make any sense. So, but if you know that, then you can go, you kind of go to battle. You're in the trenches and you fight the fight, the good fight. And luckily I had a great team. But yeah, I think I also I was so grateful, and I also had some regret for not maybe being as vocal as I could have been about what these things meant to me. And so sometimes we deal with our grief and our regret, in different ways. And so I was like, well, I'll just they say grief is love with no place left to go. So I put the love into the movie.
Yeah, and it's great, as you said, not to let fear overcome ourselves and the opportunities that life shows us, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
And well, in this movie, you took the roles of writer, producer, director, right? Which of those roles did you feel most connected to? It's very interesting because it's the same story, but of course, it's three different ways to look at it.
Yeah.
And how did they each shape your relationship with the story?
Well, they say you make one movie when you write it, one when you shoot it, and one when you edit it. They're all different, and I think you have to take off one hat and put on another hat, because otherwise you could miss the magic in front of you, holding on to the things that you thought the way you thought it was going to be. It's like life. A lot of things about life are like that. So I think when I wrote it, I was just trying to be as honest as I could about my emotional truth, and what it's like to kind of grow up with a parent similar to this, and find, unexpected healing and unexpected love in ways that you never would have guessed. And I was like, let me just be honest and vulnerable. And I leaned into the fear of that because it was very embarrassing. Like some of the some of the things that develop when you grow up this way are not, necessarily things you want to tell everybody about. And but I was like, that's where the power is, in the honesty. So I leaned into that. And then once I had written it and it was working, then like casting was such a big part of it, and casting the right hearts, and they didn't nobody needs to look like me. They didn't need to like move or talk like the people they were, it was just like, who has the right heart to play this role? And then they bring their experiences and their themselves as these people, right? So then I had to put away some of the kind of micromanaging or smaller things, and just really look at the emotional truth of every scene with incredible actors that I had cast. So it is kind of like you put it aside. And then producing, I hope I don't have to do this much of it again next time. It was a lot. Sometimes I'd be directing and then I'd have to go sign something in the middle of in a break, or I'd have to like call, do all these things. And but I did it because with the team that I had, because we just love the film, we love the project. So but yeah, it's all different. I am a writer director, so I feel like, the people have been calling me an auteur, and I think there's probably some truth to that. That's kind of the way I tell a story. So but producing, I'm the least attached to.
Oh, okay. So, given this line of directing and the film,
Yeah.
uh, how well this film touches painful themes, but also warmth and moments of light. How do you find that emotional balance as a director? I mean, do you get like emotional when you were seeing like those scenes come to life?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Barbie Ferrer was so incredible that and she would be performing things that were, inspired by my emotional truth and my life experiences. And so as she would be bringing, you know, her brilliance to this character and her honesty and her range and everything, I would feel like I was like a cathartic kind of healing. Like like as you if you can turn your pain into art, like what's more cathartic than that? And so as like sometimes I'd be like, especially the counselor scene, I remember tears are just streaming down my face quietly, as she's just saying these stories and the kennel scene, the puppy scene, I won't give too much away, but that scene was really powerful. And there was one of our executive producers, his wife was at the monitor nearby, and she said, as she's watching that scene, she said, "That's the pain coming out," you know, and that's what it is. That's what the movie was. And so I think the way I balanced it is I try not to judge people in life. I mean, certainly we can go about our days judging everybody and if we wanted to and certainly there are people that are hurting other people and not, doing the right things. But like for me, I try to look at the inner ch children inside people, and I try to direct with all the characters, I try to direct their inner children. I'm like, every single character here was once a little kid and had fears and dreams and you know didn't if I can play to that part of them, then I can make it I can make the even the sad scenes have hope, and I can make even the funny scenes have depth because these are real people. These aren't just caricatures, so I think some of that, and in real life I'm often like something so sad, I think it's absurd. It's so sad, it's funny because it's, or it's so funny that I mean like sometimes when they go together, in a way like you you're crying because you're happy, or because and it's because sometimes it's because you've experienced the opposite, like if you're heartbroken, it's because you've experienced love, or if you're able to take in all the joy, sometimes it's because you've experienced pain that you can understand that. So anyway, so I just don't even go into this is a big part of my life, so I love the question. I hope I answered it in a way that works for you.
Yes, yes, you did.
Sure. Yes. I have to confess, I cried during that puppy scene.
Yeah.
It, it's a very emotional scene, and I think you did it great. Great.
Oh,
It's
thank you. Thank you so much.
incredible.
They just brought
Um,
it. I mean, we set it all up and did it. You do everything you can to set everybody up to feel safe and be human, and including the cinematographer. He's a big part of that scene. That was a handheld scene, and
mm,
and I said, John Rosario, I said, you're an actor in this scene. You're not showing this to us. You're inviting us in. you know,
yes.
and he really got it. And so I think having, you cast the cast, but you also cast the crew. Having the wrong person operate that camera would have been strange and would have, you would have felt like you're being watched instead of invited. So it's all important. So I'm glad. Hope it was a good cry.
It was. It was.
Good.
It was.
I was poppy and everything after the movie. Yeah.
Well, you told us a little bit about your connection with the cast, right? And how this movie feels very real and natural, not only because it's your personal experience, but also because you connected with them and they conveyed this story to
Yeah.
the big screen. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you worked with the crew to bring this authenticity to life? I'm glad you mentioned the cinematographer because yeah, especially that scene, of course it's written wonderfully and performed wonderfully as well, but I mean it feels very intimate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The camera is right there, you're the camera is you, you're one.
Yeah.
And how did you manage to do that with the crew, with the people behind the camera?
Well, oh my gosh, I love my team so much, and I Even that scene, I had the composer, I asked him to, and he gladly did it, thankfully, do demos so that we could play those on set. We could play the music that was going to be in the film, and it's, as you heard in the film, it was demos, so it wasn't quite finished, but it gave us the vibe, and the heartfelt nature and the playfulness and but also the depth, and it's this movie is not toxically positive. That's not the intention, but it's aware of the darkness, but it chooses the light in every scene, And so with the crew, I was looking for people who got that, people who understood how I'm not saying the world is not hard, and that we don't face tough things, but like together we can choose to have hope. We can choose to be there for each other in our imperfect states, Nobody, like, it's okay to make mistakes on my set, Like nobody is, I don't want to run anything by fear or anything like that. We're all there. Everybody was handpicked. Like I interviewed a lot of people for every department head, and sometimes people be like, you need to make a decision. I was like, just interview a few more, just a few more, but everybody had, our production designer, our costume designer, our cinematographer, they had wonderful hearts. Our editor, our composer, these are people who are real, there's not driven by ego. They're driven by collaboration and humanity, really, And so I just wanted across the board, people to who would be on board for that. And because once you pick the right people, you don't have to micromanage them at all. They bring so much more than you ever could imagine. Sydney Marquez, our production designer, she when I interviewed her, she made these boards. At first when she sent them to me, I thought it was digital because mood boards, But then when we did the Zoom, I saw that she had made physical boards. She had gone to the store and made, of like location set designs and and they were like big. And I said, this is the person. This is the person who's going to do the work on the scrapbooks. This is the person who gets the heart, like someone who's physically making something, And I don't know, just going the extra mile for this film that saw the value and the meaning behind this film and the themes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the scrapbooking theme,
Yeah.
that's like personally, I like a scrapbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to keep them. I asked her, I said, when we finished, I was like, can I keep the scrapbook? So I have them over here.
Oh.
Yeah, the last one, I mean, is the
Oh yeah. Yeah. That
Yes,
came
I'm not
from
the same person after that.
Oh no, no, and people are like, I know where it's going, and they're like, oh. That came from my childhood friend's mom, who she was a scrapbooker our whole life. And I think my childhood friend, she would be like, oh, my mom's scrapbooking. And I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. Like, and I think my friend was like, that's cool, whatever. But I was like, that's amazing. I said, she loves your photos so much that she's putting them on acid-free paper and saving them forever, and then I would wind up in their scrapbooks, like in the corner or something, of a photo. And so I always held on to that feeling and how great it was. So I can't give too much away, but anyway.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Well, now that many people are excited to see you continue as a director, do you see yourself staying in this kind of movies, or do you want to explore any other genres of movies?
Yeah, I mean, the big things for me are, does it have heart? I want it to have heart, and I want the movie or the stories that I tell to leave people with a little more hope than when they got there, and that's really important to me. I mean, maybe a lot more hope, that'd be nice, but just I don't want we have enough things kind of showing us the opposite of that, and I want to be a part of saying that it can be different and that we matter and that we belong. And so things with I like late coming of age stories, stories about people learning that they belong, because I think we all belong. And if we could all just realize that, what a better world it would be. If everybody knew that everybody else belonged, then so I tend to be drawn to and chosen family stories. I am reading a script right now. Like right before this, I was reading. I was like, "Oh, this is up my alley." Like I didn't write it, and I'm like, it has, and I'm a little awkward sometimes, and so I like awkward characters a little bit. So, yeah, and there's some big movies I'm up for too. I'm pitching and but they still have that heart, you know. There's a lot of them that I'm like, I'm not right for this because if the end of my days, if something had my name on it, it'd be really nice if you knew, oh, it has heart, you know, if it has my name on it. And so we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely, and I like to challenge perceptions. I'm always looking for some way that the story can challenge perceptions, and that can be casting against type. It's easy to think in the wrong hands that, you know, if the wrong director, that Lily is a doormat, you know, that her kindness is a weakness. And that I think I proved that wrong because, you know, and it's like she's not a doormat, she's a survivor. And she is her kindness is her superpower. And she's going to go on to change the world through it. So I think like that's something, those kind of characters that point out something that we were wrong about. That's really important to me. Also, Bob, you know, Bob is like this guy in a trailer, and it's like, wow, he's magical. You know, he's one of the kindest, most amazing men in the world, and we need to realize that about the people around us, you know.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna ask you a personal question if that's okay.
Of course.
We've talked about fear and our dreams and how you connected with the cast and crew, right? Um, I want to ask you, of course, this is your personal story and you've learned a lot about it throughout the years and everything, but what did you learn about yourself throughout the process of making this specific film? Is there anything new that comes to mind that you learned about yourself?
Yeah, there's a few things. And one big thing is, you know, when I wrote this, I thought, oh, I'm healed. I'm good. I'm done. And I was like, great, now I can tell the story and then I'll just move on the rest of my life and I'll be healed. And you know, you do have a level of healing, right? And I think that you break through to a new chapter and it's amazing. But then there's more healing in that next chapter. And so embracing the lessons at every stage and embracing what we need to learn at and the growth, you know. I remember looking out at the cast and crew and thinking, oh, I remember going to set thinking, I found my chosen family. That's why I wrote this story, you know. And I remember looking out at my cast and crew on these hard days and being like, now this is my film family, you know, and this realization that you're not, well, I knew that you weren't limited to your biological family. And I knew that I believed in chosen family, obviously. But then I was like, you're not even limited to a small chosen family. Like if we could all just continue to see the whole world as potential chosen family, you know, and then these pockets of people that you might not even realize you're maybe one step away from having, you know, someone to be in that you really, you know, a stranger can become part of your chosen family, you know? So that kind of and now when I go see the movie and I experience this with strangers in the audience, we go through something together and we become connected in this way. And so I think it was really eye-opening realizing that it's so much bigger than I even imagined, you know? Um, and and I think it was empowering also for me because, you know, the things that I was told were a burden as a kid, oh, my sensitivity, oh, my, you know, attention to detail, I was hyper vigilant, you know, things like that. These are superpowers as a director, you know? So I think realizing that I had originally thought in so many years, I thought going all the way me would make me lose people unless people would relate, you know, and I should not go all the way because I need more people to relate to it. But by going all the way me and being as emotionally honest as I could be and using my original voice, I only connected with more people. So there's that specificity is universal that people always say is so true and people all around the world, you know. So and it doesn't mean they have a Facebook dad or they necessarily had a parent with this, but we're all not so different and these things the power of cinema to bring us together is something I never experienced in this. You hope for it, but this is the first time I got to experience it. So it just makes me want to keep going and I feel that when I go to sit down to write a story now, I have all the people I've talked to with me and all, you know, I'm still doing it for myself and from, you know, but I know that I'm speaking to people who can hear me versus like when I was little and I was speaking to someone like, can anybody hear me? Like, so anyway, that I hope that answers the question, but I don't feel so alone. you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people connected with the different characters on the movie. I mean, people
Yeah.
Yes.
with the wife of Bob and Lily and all of the things that we saw in the movie. So yeah.
Yeah. And I tried to flip things on her head, even with Jeannie, for example. Like, oh, you could say, oh, she's kooky. Oh, she's a Karen, or she's a Karen light, something. And then- and then- and it's like, oh, she's a grieving mom. Oh,
Yes.
she's, and oh, Daphne, oh, she's just like kind of cool and whatever. Oh, Daphne's going through stuff, and so I just wanted us hopefully there's something for everybody to relate to, and then in the process of that, of finding their in, they also relate to other people as well.
I really appreciated that because the supporting characters have depth as well,
Yeah.
and you don't find that in every movie, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I really appreciated that. Yes.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
Well, thank you for giving us this time. I think we went over a few
Oh, no,
minutes.
it's okay.
Thank you so much.
Can I just tell you how much I love Costa Rica? I spent a year there. I mean, a year. I spent a week there, but the quality felt like a year because I went surfing in Playa Tamarindo.
Oh.
I saw the volcano La Fortuna. I went to the Capitol, I saw all that. It was on a shoot, and so I was like, I can't believe I'm having this much fun on a shoot. Like, this is amazing. So, and everybody I met was so great, and Pura Vida became like a motto for life. So, I'm just especially happy that we're going to be in theaters there. And thank you to all your audiences, and I hope Costa Rica likes it.
I'm sure they'll love it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was lovely speaking to you.
You too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So nice to meet y'all. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.